it'd be scamming, it's so many hustles.
It's so much stuff going on.
You know what I'm saying? So I saw this big ass truck pull up with all these rims and the record label on the side. And I'm walking down by Papaya, a little hot dog spot, and I see this joint. I say, hold on. I got these beats on me. This big guy came out. Big guy, big belly, big chain, big truck. I said, damn, this guy gotta have some connect. He gotta be in the industry. Like, and I just walked up to him. I said, yo, I guarantee if you give me like a good 20 minutes of your time, I'll make you a millionaire within the next 12 months. He said, where you from? I said, Baltimore. He said, all right, get in the truck. And let me hear what you got. So mind you, at the time, his girl was in the coffee shop getting the tea and the coffee. She didn't know I was in the truck. She come back in the truck like, nigga, where you get this stranger? Why is there a stranger in the truck? But we listening to beats. He's like, yo, I'm about to drop you off because he was fire. These beats was fire.
Mm-hmm.
Drop her off and roll me around Queens, Brooklyn. I'm talking about for 3 hours that night. This guy was just like, yo, listen, man, I'm building this production team. I work with Rough Riders. I work with this, da, 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 da. Of course, I'm new to the city. I believe in everything he's saying. And he wasn't lying. But it was just like, yo, I'm about to be on. Yo, what? And so he was like, where you staying? And I was just like, you know, I'm around. Because at the time, I'm sleeping on the train. Like, I wasn't staying anywhere, really. You know what I'm saying? I had my drum machine on my book bag. I had about 3 days of clothes, socks, toothbrush, deodorant. You know, I'm really outside, as they say, right? So he eventually found out that I was homeless and shit. He was like, man, look, I got a barbershop. Why don't you just come sleep in the barbershop, man? You know what I'm saying?
Solution.
And so, boom, I moved it to the barbershop. And then he was like, yo, these beats is fire, man. You know, you got any equipment? I was like, nah. He said, I'm going to buy you some equipment. You know what I'm saying? So you could really start making some beats and start really, you know. So he spent like 6, 7, 10,000. I don't know. I remember him taking me down to Sam Ash, just buying up shit. I'm just like, oh my God, he's buying me all this equipment, you know. And I stayed in the barbershop. I was sleeping in the barbershop. You know that they used to lift a big gate in the morning, 8 in the morning, lift the barbershop. I was sleeping on a futon, and I wake up off the futon. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy. Like it was a dangerous environment. This is East New York. This is early 2000s. East New York, a dangerous environment. He had to give me some protection. You know what I'm saying? A little Ruger, a little Deuce 5. You know what I mean? He was just like, yo, if anything pop off, bro, you know, this is where you at. I was like, cool. My mother would kill me if she knew how this was going on. But at the time, I just wanted to get on so bad. You fearless.
Because you feel like you right there.
Man, 18, you fearless. You don't care what kind of danger you in. I'm like, what?
And for you, this is dream come true. I'm in New York. I'm where everything is happening. Bro. Somebody's spending real money.
Right. I saw first time I saw that.
Yeah.
So, boom, he get the equipment. I hook it up. I go back home. I get Imani to like give me some tips and guys say how you hook this up. I'll go back to New York and figure it out. And so yeah, it was the barbershop, but then he had like a little glass display with CDs and DVDs and merch. And behind the glass display was my equipment. And then on the other side of that was the bathroom that I had to pad up. And I turned the bathroom into the booth. So literally when you walk in the bathroom, it'd be pad on the wall. You know what I'm saying? So that was 18. I was 18 and turned the equipment on one day, and I'm making the beats, and they came in there one day, and I'm feeling it, I'm nodding my head. They say, yo, take it out the headphones, let me hear it. It was like, yo, that shit whack as a motherfucker. It was horrible, bro. These beats were not, it was like, yo, this ain't what I heard on the CD.
Right.
Because mind you, bro, they was my beats on the CD. I thought I was clear. Like, right. But they was like, yo, can you make beats? I said, yeah, because I could.
Right.
Technically, I knew
what you was doing. So you just saying get the sauce shit.
Bro, it was just like day after day I would take it out the headphones, they'd be in the barbershop chair. Yo, man, he whack, man. Turn that off, put back on songs. Like, damn. So I was just really just every day trying to impress the guys in the Brooklyn barbershop every day. Turning out that's whack. Oh, fuck. It's whack. And one day they was like, and I saw the things that they were not, and when they didn't tell me to turn it off, I would just try to replicate the formula that would keep the barbershop happy. Right? I would just stick to that.
That's real training right there.
You know what I'm saying?
You in the dojo right now.
Yeah.
Yo, go ahead.
Yeah,
I ain't even trying to stop you. Go ahead.
Nah, but that's what it was. You know what I'm saying? I would just like, okay, it was like bass lines that would be repetitive, that bad boy sound. That was just like doom, 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 boom, 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 boom. Because I started stripping instruments and taking, my stuff was so musical, had too much music in it, and I was just trying to do too much. And then I noticed as I started stripping away, people started liking it, you know, and I stopped changing the beat up so much. And I'm just like, okay, they liking this. I'm not really feeling it because it's not really showing the fact that I know how to play a keyboard and not showing all my music skills at the time, but it was just like, they like it, cool. And so then he got the BG&E bill. He was like,
something got to change. He
said, bruh, you know, Kariz, this was before Kariz Marcel name kicked in, it was just Kariz at the time. He said, yo, you gotta sell some beats, you gotta get some studio time, you gotta do something, bro. Get some money in here. I'm like, how the fuck I'm gonna do that? I ain't from here. So I said, all right, bet. I'm gonna go to the print shop. I'm gonna make a flyer on paint shop or whatever it was, Word. Made a flyer, put the logo of the barbershop on there. I called it a studio. I turned the name of the barbershop. It was Headhunt Barbershop. I turned it to Headhunt Studio or something. Made a bunch of flyers, put the phone number on there. I think he might have given me a cell phone at the time, or I used a cell phone or phone at the barbershop, whatever it was. And I went on every train, bro, and I taped it on 1 train, 2 train, 8 train, C train, and I just posted up on light poles and all of that. The phone started ringing. Yo, you got a studio? You in East New York? I'm like, yeah. So dudes should show up. I throw them in it. Look, imagine like in the middle of the barbershop, dudes getting their hair cut, and they gotta like somebody knocking on the door to use the bathroom, but he's spitting bars. I'm like, yo, you gotta come out. Yo, they gotta use the bathroom, you know. But that's where it started. I was just selling. I was doing for $200-300 a song.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I got up like $1,200. He came in there one day, was like, yeah, boy. I was like, I'm happy. I got the paper. You know, I'm bummy at the time, and he was just like, I need that. Damn, yo, like, man, he took all the money. I said, damn, yo, okay, that was my first lesson. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, you took all the money, man, like all the money. Like I had nothing. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, that was a movie, and I ended up linking up with You Majesty. You Maj was just an East New York like street, like, you know, just moved different. This guy from Pink Houses, and I met him at LeBar Bats, one of them random places I tell you I'm trying to sell beats. And this guy, he was into film and TV and artist management. He was working at a BCAT, the TV station. And he was like, yo, man, start coming with me out to these events when I'm filming for the show, for the network. I didn't know what he's talking about, filming for the network. What are you talking about? So I start going out with him, and then one day he was like, yo, you know, bring your beats with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be with Funkmaster Flex. I'm gonna be with this guy. I'm gonna be with that guy. He would just introduce me to all these different things, but he never let me play my beats. He gave me a video camera. It was like, I need you to film. So it's a lot of shows back there, which I just recently found all these tapes where I'm like, you can see me like carrying this big ass camera running around. And I realized how we was able to get in clubs. Like I would see him negotiating at doors. They wouldn't let him in. I was young at the time. He wouldn't let us in. But he at the door negotiating, and we had like fake passes and whatever, like cameras. And he was like, yo, make sure you got the camera on you. And
it's real life.
And so that's how we was able to get into these spots. That's why I learned about what I call today the backdoor strategy. You know what I'm saying? Of like how you can get the thing you want by just offering the thing they want, and not even really talking about the thing you really want from them, but like you just giving them what they want. And I learned that. You know what I'm saying? I learned that. And but East New York was tough, man. I remember, like, you know, Puerto Rican Day Parade. Somebody got killed on my roof, and the shootouts, and you know, it was wild, man. When my homie came up from Baltimore to visit me, and just saw how bad I was doing, like literally bad. Like it was bad, man. And I even got, you know, I got locked up out there, and you know, over some dumbness because my man was smoking, and police pulled up and locked us all up 7:30 in the morning. I was mad skinny and wasn't eating, only ate when somebody else ate. Like it was tough, bro. And he was like, man, you gotta come back to Baltimore, bro. I said, nah, yo, I'm close.
Yeah.
But being out there, you know, just seeing Eve and Rough Riders pull up, and just seeing the big trucks, and seeing just being in what I considered like I'm around the industry. Like I'm learning how to move in these spaces. So by the time I moved back to Baltimore, 2001, 2002, I had a wealth of information that none of my homies had and connections. And it was different. Like I came and got aggressive and I learned how to eliminate the fat and really dominate the city. And that's where I think things really started to kick in for me. Baltimore 2002 and was a life-changing like kind of era in time in Baltimore.
That's deep, yo. Like, I'm loving this story. All right, so you come back, you relink with the homies. Is there a power struggle? Because like now with the knowledge and the connections, that kind of default makes you the guy.
That's kind of what happened. And I learned how to, me and Imani created a company called Bang and Beat. And we created this when I got back. Was it before? I just remember being like 18, 19, creating this company with Imani. And, we had I had a whole strategy. Like, yo, you gonna make the beats and I'm gonna sell them. You know what I'm saying? This is how we gonna get this thing going. And because at the time, like I said, still I'm decent at beats, but I'm still not as dope as my guys.
Right.
I just knew based on how I learned in New York how to talk, how to get there. What they call by my boys call now, yo, you be charising these niggas, man. Like I just learned how to how to talk my way into spaces, into labels. At the time, you think about it was Acoustics, Hung Jury Records, Charm City Records. Man, it was all of these labels moving around the city.
Yo, you just blew my mind. This nigga said Hung Jury and Charm City Records. Yo, when I moved back to Baltimore, those are the first CDs I buy when I moved back to Baltimore. It's like, yo, Hung Jury. Nobody has spoken the name in years. I'm sorry.
Nah, man, but listen,
my
man,
mind.
this was what was happening. Man, you had like it was like Black Talent and these are Norm Scholar, like, you know what I'm saying? This was an era, man. Like these was guys,
Do you know I still have those CDs to this day?
Oh wow, that's legendary.
I have them right next to that nigga, yo. I'll pull them out when I'm telling you, I got the Hung Jury compilation.
Listen, legendary.
Yo, Black Talent was so fucking dope.
Yeah, man, legendary.
That shit was crazy, bro.
Yeah, man. So we got back and we got a crib on St. Paul and Biddle, and the top floor of St. Paul and Biddle, and built the studio out of there. And then Scar already had a relationship with Imani through being on Mount Holly and down the Junction. And so a lot of guys started coming through there. We recording people. And eventually I got up with this girl named Adonna Black that at the time was with Hung Jury. And that's when I got with her, she liked my beats. And I'm like, somebody like my beats? Like,
he's like, I'm on.
So I'm just like, okay. So, but yeah, I started, really getting busy out here. And then back then, see, people don't understand like what it was. And I talked to a lot of the young artists here in Baltimore, like, you couldn't rap in Baltimore and get it popping without a serious backing.
That's a
fact. Like you had to have money. So you gotta think about these guys was getting real serious money. You know what I'm saying? And driving big cars and taking fancy trips and putting up a lot of bread and had payola. Like, come on, DJ Quicksilver was our DJ. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like going to Quick's not even going to Quick's basement, him coming to our crib to do mixtapes, like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm young as I don't know what. You know what I'm saying? Even to this day, I'm like, I know you don't remember me. Like, when I see him, it's like, you don't remember me. But it was just like, but yeah, it was doing it, bro. But I wanted to get in, I wanted to, like, become, like, I don't know, man. I wanted to take over the city. I remember seeing, like, yo, we got to take over the city. How can we get in with these labels? You know what I'm saying? And, I remember the camera. I was like, the camera. I'm like, bro, we need a camera. So what we need a camera for? We need studio equipment. I was like, I know we need studio equipment. We need money for that. But we need a camera. And so they were like, all right. So now you're talking about me taking leadership, right? So I put together a one sheet of like a hip hop documentary idea I had, which was completely phony. Like, I didn't really care about the hip hop documentary, to be quite honest with you. I cared about getting my beats into these labels, but I knew how they would respond to cameras.
Yeah, facts.
So we had the camera, and I went to school with a lot of cute girls, and I would get them like $50 a head to go out with me at night, right? And I'd be like, yo, come out with me, little model chicks or whatever. So I say, yo, just follow behind me. My man got the camera. He gonna put the light on. I got the little mic and just rock with me. So I would start popping up at Baltimore Live. Now it's a mosque right now. Some Howard and Saratoga or something. Like, I would pop up at different clubs. The tunnels, the everything. You know what I'm saying? And I would have this camera with me, and I would tell people, yo, I'm doing a documentary on Baltimore hip hop. Word? Oh yeah, what's it about? Yo, okay, let's do lunch. So I would go meet with these label heads, from Acoustic, from these label, talking about my documentary. But while I was talking to them in my car, wherever I was at, I'm playing beats in the background, right? Every time. So, and I'm giving them this whole spill. So I had a second meeting, think, yo, what are you just be playing random instrumentals? I'm like, yeah, it's a little beats, man. It's a little something I'll be doing on the side, whatever. Well, ain't nothing, man. But yeah, about this documentary. So eventually, like, yo, hold on, yo, what's up with these beats though, bro? Yo, this track is you? Like, yeah. He's like, yo, you sell these joints? I was like, yeah, I mean, I could sell them, but I really just was making it for the movie or whatever. He like, bro, I'll buy this from you. And then at the time I took my guy Majesty from New York, he started coming down to Baltimore selling incense and Louis bags and whatever, New York guys.
Hustling.
Just hustling. So he'll come down, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, yo, he kind of encouraged me to like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Sell these beats, bro. So bam, I say, yo, how much you want for these beats? I was like 1,000. I'm talking. This is 2002.
Yeah, you went crazy.
I went crazy, right?
Jumped out the window on that nigga.
I said 1,000. He said, damn. I said, yeah, man, I told you they for my movie, bro. Like, he was like, yo, look, meet me at the studio this day, Man, and it was on Hayward and Park Heights, run that way. They had upstairs, they had a studio up there. And I would just come over and play the beats. And then, they'd be like, yo, give me track, naming out the tracks. And they picked out like 9 joints. And he was like, yo, how about we work something out? You know what I'm saying? I'll give you 5,000 for these 9 right now. I'm like, all right. So boom, he gave me like 25, he gave me like half of it. He was like, come back and track it out. Now we talking about track outs. Y'all young boys don't know about the track outs.
Talk to 'em.
So, this NPCs and all that. So we had to come and track out the beats in the studio, hook up the equipment, bring out the sound modules, track it out so they could have all the tracks, and they would give me the rest of the money, and it was just on from there. You know what I'm saying? In Baltimore, I just started, I learned the formula, and before you know it, everybody forgot about my little fake-ass documentary, and I just started killing it with the beats and buying equipment and just leveling up, you know what I'm saying? And buying cars and jewelry, and, it got to a time where people would come through our studio, and they thought they thought I was selling dope. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, then we started working with The Block and Los and Scar, and these guys started coming. Because Scar was already in a relationship, you know what I'm saying? He was already there. And so when he started working with The Block, DJ Who Kid mixtape with The Block was recorded at. I recorded that.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was done at my spot. A lot of Los's music was done at my spot back then. But yeah, man, that was the start of like Baltimore hip hop, like me kind of moving around and getting the respect. Things, it was some crazy stories that came after that, and dudes getting locked up, and some dangerous things happened, and we had to we lost some things, man, and got dangerous. It got dangerous.
So being that you got motion and you were working with Los at that same time period, Boss Man is coming into prominence.
Yes, Tim Trees.
You know what I'm saying? Tim is coming into prominence.
Yeah.
Paula Campbell takes off. Davon ends up getting residual. He gets residual fire off of their fire.
I remember them parties, bro. I remember being there. And Scar coming 100,000 deep with the Arabs and Davon and Paula. And I remember these days, like, it was a beautiful time in Baltimore hip hop, man. Like, crazy.
But let's talk about, because I think people don't understand when I'm telling them. I said, with Tim, Paula, and Davon, a sound was created.
Yes. Rod Lee
creates this sound.
Right.
It's given to them, but it almost becomes the formula because when we started trying to take records up there, 92Q want more of that.
They want more of that. Yeah, copycat.
But I didn't know that a lot of we want more of that meant, yo, you need to go to Rod, take him a bag, and then there's a formula. There's a formula to this.
Yeah, go to Rod Lee.
Where everybody gets taken care of.
Right.
But I didn't know. I'm thinking they literally want me to make beats like this dude or whatever. How do you contend with this? Like, how do y'all deal? Or did y'all say?
Well, we was getting money. I ain't care. You know what I'm saying? So you understand something like then, like you gotta understand. I'm 20 years old, making thousands of dollars a week from beats in Baltimore. Not having to go back to New York. Not having to I'm home. But I partied with a hustler's party. I wore what the hustlers wore. If they got a Jacob watch, I'm getting a Jacob watch. If they wearing Coogee, I'm wearing Coogee. If they got pretty girls, I'm bringing pretty girls. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even though my stuff wasn't probably weird, we used to go to Canal Street and get dipped. They ain't know I meant whatever. I just knew that these the guys with the bag, and I need to be where they're at in order to get these kind of money off the beats. And if I do that, I'm cool. I wasn't trying to get music on the radio. That wasn't my job. That was day job to figure out what record I produced would make. Eventually, I did get my first record on the radio, and I remember shedding that tear and going crazy on the way back. We had a gig in Jersey. We on the way back from Jersey on 95. We got to Baltimore when 92Q radio station started kind of getting more clear. And I remember hearing a song called Money I did with Adonna Black at Rasheed Wallace studio in Philly. We used to go to Philly and record at Rasheed Wallace spot. I'm gonna tell you how we was doing it back then. We was going to Philadelphia International, big studios, Master Disc in New York, getting our records mastered by the same guys who mastered Jay-Z stuff. Back then, the Baltimore label CEOs were copying what New York labels were doing.
Right.
So they were going to where New York, they just figured, so we was around that. Our lawyers was the same lawyers that big guys in New York, that's how we had to move back then.
Yeah.
So, it was different, but then when the record did definitely, we had a record on the radio called Money. I think maybe Quick might have slid that in or something. And that was my first time ever hearing it, man. We had a car pack. We was going crazy, bro. So, yeah, we eventually got some stuff on the radio, but it wasn't always my goal, right? It was just because I think my goal was just to be dominant in the streets. I was more in this in that mindset than I was thinking about radio. I was like, how can I get these guys in the streets to value my art? Right. It was more about that.
Okay. Now, also, because I kind of want to stay in this time period because there's a lot of stuff that happened in this time period.
Everything
So
happened,
there was a thing called the Stop Snitching DVD that comes out.
Here we go. Okay.
Because knowing your connection, I'm like, yo.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to talk about the beef, but I do want to talk about the residual.
No bags.
I know. You all up in my dog. No bags. Oh my God.
But come on with it. Yeah.
Woo, yo. I never seen, that was the hoodest nigga I'd ever seen in my life. Missing teeth.
Yo, it changed.
Skinny as hell, crazy chain.
Yeah.
Talking shit.
Crazy.
Wow, crazy shit. And you know what? I just found it on YouTube and I watched the first 10 minutes.
Yeah. And
I said, is that Carmelo? Oh shit, I forgot Carmelo.
That got him in a lot of trouble.
Bro, it was so much going on.
Yeah.
But the whole Los thing.
Yeah.
And even Los, I think he was in it, or at a certain point.
Yeah. I think
they caught some clips with him, doing some stuff with the kids.
Because of One Love DVDs and all that. He was in the barbershops battling with, you know what I'm saying, all those guys, and you know what I'm saying,
Yeah, so you being, not necessarily, I don't know if you're in that clique with them, but you being in the in the atmosphere of it. What's it like when that DVD drops? You got controversy in the streets.
Oh
how are y'all navigating all of that? How are you? Does that affect you at all?
Yes. What? Oh my God. All right, so you gotta think about it, man. This is happening on a cusp of a lot of indictments coming into the city, right? But that just kind of speeded up these federal indictments.
Gotcha.
So
because they was talking a bunch of street shit on that.
So you got to think about it, right? How why Baltimore it kind of ruined the trajectory of Baltimore. But back then, you got to think you had Nature's Problem with Shake and Shorty. You had guys with major deals. Julio Shalom had major, like it was a major, we was really, K Swift running around. She would MTV in the clubs. It was a time, bro. And it was happening for us, for everybody. Scars shooting big videos, $20,000-$30,000 videos in Miami, and it was happening, bro. Los getting with Bad Boy, like, bro, it was happening for us, right? This DVD happens. Okay, and it's so. I mean, we was minds at the time. We selling CDs and DVDs too. Our studio, we had a storefront where we had CDs, DVDs, Louis bags, everything in the storefront. Right now, it's a weave shop on 25 of St. Paul, 2515 St. Paul. So with the storefront, then we had the studio in the back. We was selling them DVDs too. Right. Like that was another thing. It was a business that me and my man from New York started. We had, we call it A1. And we had the A1 market and we would sell, I had the beats in the studio in the back. And so we was, selling them DVDs too. It was popping. Right. And then, things started happening we started hearing about cases and things got scary. Some producers that ended up stopped working at labels and they would, things got real street like things. That's when the industry and the streets started to kind of intersect. And so, a lot of label CEOs started catching bids. Which these label CEOs were also clients of mine. These were the guys who was giving me $700, $1,000 a beat. Like you know what I mean? So, and these guys were big guys, like in Baltimore, but especially West Baltimore. In West Baltimore, this is a lot of guys was getting big money. You know what I'm saying? East Baltimore, a couple of guys was getting money too. I was trying to sell beats to them too. And so, we doing well. And then, money started slowing up, right? We like, dang, what's going on? And so-and-so got locked up, and so-and-so, then Big Homie got locked up. You know what I'm saying? And these establishments started to kind of like fall apart. You know what I'm saying? And eventually, it stopped, man. And then we ended up moving out of that studio, and we had to kind of like change business models. And that's when I went into doing remixes. Because I was just like, okay, we got to figure this out. So I said, yo, look, let's just get industry acapellas and we're going to make beats around it. We're going to push these up. We're going to call it This Is Not a Remix. And we just started pushing remix CDs out and then started kind of rebuilding our clientele. Around this time, big homies get locked up. And we had a lot of equipment from the label. And I was getting letters, kites from the jails and all that. Yo, we appreciate what you're doing. Keep the equipment. It's all yours. Do your thing. So we had all this studio equipment, until we did it. And some guys came and got that back from us in a scary kind of way, right? So, but even when that happened, it was wild because I started having, when the paper started slowing down, indictments coming in, I'm like, how we gonna maneuver? I started going back to my New York guys. Say, yo, look, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? So I started going back to New York. I got up with this subsidiary through Sony, and we started working on PlayStation 3 video game music. That's
genius. That's a pivot for your ass.
I had a pivot. Look, I had a staff, mind you. I had engineer, I had intern staff. By this point, I've got a company. Like damn near, I'm 21, but like, I'm running. You know what I mean? I got to figure out how to keep this thing afloat, right? Like how to keep this paper coming in at the time. And I'm just like, how we going to do this? And the A1 hustle was happening. We were selling things and all that. But then even through that situation, it's like one of my big homies from there got locked up and started stealing merchandise out the store for lawyer fees. I mean, they just got crazy, man. It affected that DVD just kind of created this spiral effect in the city, man, where and I'm just a beat maker. I'm not a street guy, right? Like, but it got to the point where I was getting threatened. You know what I'm saying? Like, we coming to get that equipment. Guns getting drawn out, needed protection for some time. It was scary, man. And Mom, I'm sorry. I'm here. I'm still here. I made it.
Yeah, facts.
But it was I was ready to die for this equipment, like really ready to go to like whatever it comes and eventually I had to just give it up because I just got exhausted of like the threats and like getting chased out of clubs and so it stopped, slowed down, and then I had to speed it back up and hoping. I was like, damn, I hope the Sony thing didn't even happen. It didn't go all the way through, but I remember having this opportunity and I started working with a lot of cats down the hill, Douglas Home, the guys from Lafayette Projects, CP the Preacher at the time, Dante Barksdale was one of my big homies, just come home from jail, and he was like, just took a liking to me young, you know what I'm saying? And he used to just bring kids from the projects to my studio, and used to just like, yo, Riz, man, I'm about to, hey, man, we doing a birthday party, man. I'm going to throw you a couple dollars, man. Just the kids, I'm just trying to bring them around y'all, man. Some positive brothers, man. Just show them how to make the beats and stuff like that. I'm like, don't bring no kids over here. I ain't messing with no kids, you know what I mean? So Tater used to bring the kids to the studio off for the project, make beats. And, you know, we just do interested in trying to find ways just to stay afloat or whatever. Right. And then I remember when the Sony thing happened, amazing opportunity for us. That's when we got technically robbed. We knew the robbery was coming.
Right.
They kind of called us, was like, we're coming to hear some beats. I'm like, oh, this ain't good. So I gave them my address. Because at this time, I was just like, whatever happened, happened.
Right.
So they showed up, 6 in the morning, 5:36, do. Open the door. Yo, you know what it is. I'll go wake up Imani. Yo, you getting robbed. Hey, yo, it's over. He said, it's over. So they was just like, you know what I'm saying, yo, whatever we brought you, because at the time, you gotta think, like, the equipment, I just know I had equipment. I didn't know
whose was what,
or what they went through to get it. I just know that I was told it was mine now.
Right.
And they like, yo, whatever we got you, we want back. And they was, real respectful. It was a respectful jokes. I'm not gonna lie.
Yo, bless them, yo.
Bless them.
Their hearts, yo. Bless
you know what I'm
their
saying? Because they didn't take things that, like the computer, they knew was mine. They didn't take the computer with all my music on it. I had a mixing board that wasn't theirs, but the MPC, the keyboard, everything we had to make, they took. But this is in the midst of us having a 72-hour deadline to get these records back to Sony PlayStation. And we ain't got no equipment. Bro, I'm sweating bullets. What I do? So I shout out to Mr. Wilson and JS-1, God rest his soul, Scar Akbar. I just start making calls to guys who I knew really rocked with me. Scar came and gave me his MPC. Like, I'm like, what you going to use? He was like, yo, I figured it out. Came, dropped off the MP. Somebody else came through, heard what happened, y'all heard what happened, yo, man, y'all niggas get back up. Within 25 hours, we back up and running, making beats again. Was able to submit. They wanted us to send them 3 songs. We ended up tripling the deliverable and dropped off 9 records to Sony PlayStation 3 days after the robbery. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I tell you, like, they came through for us, they came through. Like, I'm really that. Yo, Baltimore, yo. With
more love, nigga.
Like, yo, bro, listen, bro. When it come back, yo, you got to, it come back. You know what I mean? And we locked in, bro. That was 03.
I tell people this all the time.
Something like that, yeah.
Baltimore's going to give you what you give it.
Yeah.
If you give Baltimore love, Baltimore will give you love. Yeah, like, man. Yo, if you show respect, you going to give respect. If you give disrespect, they going to give you disrespect.
Bro,
like, whatever 100%. You give, you going to get it back. There are good people here. There are traumatized people here. You know what I mean? And some of those good people are traumatized. But as long as you come with an understanding that you got to be patient. You know what I mean? We got to be respectful and we got to be loving. And, like, I've never had to carry a gun. I've lived here, for 10 years I was in Atlanta, but born and raised here, 44 years. I've never had to have a gun, bro.
No,
I know where I don't need to be at.
You know, right.
I know where I can be at. You know what I'm saying? I move with respect and I move with love, man.
Hey, man, you get what you get, man. You get what you give, man. Always.
You know what I'm saying? I love hearing stories like that where
man,
the city will come show you love. I got nothing but stories of homies that down times and up times, like the homies being there to hold it down for real.
No, serious times in Baltimore, but you gotta think how much it costs to make beats, to do a studio. Like, that's why it was almost worth your life, because it was so much that went into it. Now you can download the app on your phone and pull it out. So, you ain't about to body your risk level for the art ain't what it used to be,
right?
Because of what you had to go through to actually participate in the space was a lot.
Just think about everything you said. You having to go to New York, run around New York, find hustles just to connect with people. You know what I mean? Then get equipment, then and then go through these. Like, now the internet is there. these kids don't even leave the house and they connecting with A&Rs and this person, and Timberland might like your joint, and then y'all in the DMs all of a sudden. Like, that was not a reality for us, bro.
You had to hop on that bus or that road. You
Hell yeah. And you had to deal with a million middlemen.
A lot of middlemen. That's charging you all kinds of money for something, and they taking a cut, and nah, it was serious business, man. But I never really got into, like, even then I wasn't really in the industry. I was in Baltimore industry, you know what I mean? Right. I didn't really get in the industry till later, like in the game until way later on. Word. But it was just like then I was so straight. I'm just like, this Baltimore, I'm good. Like, I was record companies. I was, even out in the county, had Reveille Records, and they had was a restaurant called Simone's, and that guy that owned that brought a bunch of beats from us. Like, we was just like, we was really attracting like those guys, bro. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it was, man.
The smart thing, I think you were saying, you did the right thing. Dressed like success. You were in the space with successful people.
Yeah, man.
You were doing serious business. You were organized. You had a staff.
Yeah.
So when you demand 1,000, people go, well, he got interns. And
they know who was vouching for me.
And they know.
You gotta think about how hustlers, how they think, right? Like, because they always like, how much was that? That's 1,000. Well, I paid 1,500. That's just the way it was competitive. Like, these are 22, 23-year-old millionaires back then. Like, these guys it was different time in Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? Like, they was competitive. These guys, they was all friends, but it was competitive, you know what I'm saying? And so by us being those guys with the hot beats, I brought a real sparkle to the beats. My sound, I started, like I say, West Coast, Dr. Dre. So I brought this really clean, sparkly, high, like frequency kind of sound to to Baltimore music. You know what I'm saying? When everything was like on dark and gritty, and I love that too. But I brought that sparkle, like it was like sprinkles and swishes and like, I feel like I'm on the beach with, I'm bringing in steel drums and sounds and,
And you coming with professional training to engineer.
Yeah, you're right. I knew a little bit. I was
so
nice.
You know how to record. You know how to record.
I got Pro Tools in 2002.
That's different, especially in that time period, because a lot of stuff was rugged. Man, that Charm City compilation, the mixes were rugged.
Oh yeah.
Oh Lord, like what I mean. Hung Jury had some nice mixes on their stuff.
Yeah, they did. I don't know who was mixing a lot of their stuff. I mean, but I know the studios. We was going to big dogs. Like I'm telling you, we was going to big studios, $150 an hour.
Yeah.
Reel to reels and. It was big time, bro. Like, I felt like I was, and I didn't have a desire to get to a major label because I felt like I was on.
You was in there.
You know what I'm saying?
So after the Sony situation, you were able to, give them what they asked for. What was the next thing for you? Like,
man. Well, that ended up not. Well, they said they was gonna offer us $300,000, right? And then we come to find out the guy that was plugging us in was Funny Money. And he was trying to steal some stuff, and he asked us for the masters of the music without a contract, and I refused to give him the stems. I just won it. He was like, "Yo, well, if you don't give it to me, then y'all ain't getting this bag." I said, "Well, look like we ain't getting that bag," and that fell down. I don't even know if people was mad at me over that because I involved a lot of people in this thing. But I just refused to give him those masters without.
You did the right thing.
Contract, You
did the right thing.
And then come to find out later on down the road, he ended up he was a real shice ball. He ended up drinking some other people. And but I learned that in New York, like when I was going to school. Mind you, I took a class in music business law.
Right.
So I knew the game. I was hiring lawyers. My mother, my grandma, my whole family was putting together money for me to do contract reviews and to put lawyers put retainer fees on lawyers when I was in college, when I was trying to sell beats and stuff. So I already kind of knew about that. You know what I'm saying? So they couldn't get nothing over with me on that. Like I done already reviewed 3-4 contracts by that time. You know what I'm saying? Like even now today, I can just,
You can be able to peruse over it and kind of catch this gist of
I know all the language and
on.
things like that. Y'all still involve lawyers, but I'm pretty familiar. But so after that, Bang and Beat, we kind of separated a little bit, and then started working with Top of the World and moved out Randallstown, and like I said, times got rough, and I still wasn't working. This is me still haven't had a job yet, really. I really just got my first full-time shit. But I'm talking years and not really getting, not getting a job and just trying to find ways to get it. I ended up going out in the county and working with a lot of dudes out there and just trying to figure it out, man, in 04, 05. And then my girlfriend at the time was working for a Creative Alliance that put me on with this teaching gig
Gotcha.
And that changed. That was the next next chapter. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
So you're taking all of this active knowledge you've accumulated, being in the game, immersing yourself, and now you're trying to translate it to. So, what age are the kids?
this was elementary, middle.
You trying to teach elementary, middle school kids about music?
Yeah, bro. I was. Look, it's not even.
God bless you for getting a job to take care of things.
It wasn't even something I wanted to do. Like, mind you, like, I'm 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like, I am outside. I'm hitting. I'm outside, bro. And she like, well, just come to the school and teach my man. I said, I'm not messing around with no kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I think they offered me like $50 or something like that. I said, all right, bet. So I showed up to the school. Tench Tillman, one of them schools over East Baltimore. I showed up to the school, my little drum MPC, and started sampling the kids' voices, and they just started blowing. That's my voice, and they asked me to come back. They asked me to write a lesson plan. I'm like, how you do that? I called my grandmother because I knew she was in education. How you do this? And she helped me out. My grandma was my business partner for 10 years. After that, you know what I'm saying? Around that time, that's when she started kind of helping me write and teach me how to write it out.
Right.
And then I just started doing that. But around that time, I'm producing music, but I got into doing jazz and samba and salsa and working with live musicians, singers. This guy named Che Ray, amazing singer at the time, rivaled Raheem Devon. He was, he was solid artist. And so at the time I started kind of not doing hip hop and started going into. I wanted to record real drums, and it was really came through the girl I was dating. She was super cultured.
Right.
Like, she had a lot of older friends that was like 20, 30 years older than her, and so they was like, coming to the house and playing instruments and singing, and I'm like, let me record that. And so that's when like the cultural dynamic of what we were doing started to I started building that out. You know what I'm saying? But getting into the schools and working with kids and it was before I even had my own program. I didn't even know what a program was. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, I'm going to go ahead and just teach these kids. And then, so that was 05, 06, man. And it was kind of a blur. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was offered. One summer, she was like, do you have the capacity to work with like several schools, but at the time y'all like, yeah, but I'm still wanting to be in the music industry. Mm-hmm. So I was just like, damn, I don't want this to pull me away from getting on.
Right.
I'm like, I'm trying to be in the studio. I don't want to be out here, whoop, 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 you know what I'm saying? And then, my and then like so I went into that space. And then that's what I started teaching, from 07, 08, and I started getting into schools. And in 2010 or so, I get a call. Mind you, I'm still footing. I want the industry. I want in. Kanye. I was like, I want to be Kanye. I want to get into this space still. So I'm still kind of with the schools, but not all the way committed. And my man called me. He like, yo. From the film company, from the network. Remember my homie from the network? He called me up and said, yo, I got this job with this label and I'm following around this rapper right now. We about to come to DC, but we need a car to transport the camera crew. I ain't had no car. But he was like, yo, can you meet us out there and pick us up from the station and drive the crew around? Call my mother, can I borrow a car? Yeah. I get to the DC and pull up, I meet this artist named Nipsey Hussle. And then that was 2010. That changed. That was the next trajectory. It was just like, so now running around with Nip, you know what I'm saying? And at a young age, you know what I'm saying? I got pictures, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I post it around his birthday every year, whatever. I might have posted pictures with me and Nip, young, bare face, and hanging out in the studio and all of that. But I met Nip, and that's what I learned, that like my first time seeing somebody not care about a major label. And I'm just now at this point just making beats for him. Right. Like all I want to do is give Nip beats. I'm just like, I got beats for days that say Slauson 1, Slauson 2. It's crazy. I got like, the email at the time was beatsfornip@gmail. I just looked at my emails when he passed, bro. It was tough. It was tough. It was a dark. Oh my God.
I cried. I was
a mess. So yeah, I had a few moments with him, and he was teaching me analytics and SEO, and remember hanging out in a hotel and showing me the back of his analytics and Spotify. I know nothing about this. So now I'm learning independent music business, like how he's moving around. And we was going gig, I'm just the cameraman and and he was hanging out with a guy that was doing a lot of his hooks at the time named June Summers. I'm gonna tell you what's so crazy. Remember I told you I went back to Rochester, New York to live in 9th grade. So this guy named June Summers is singing all Nipsey Hussle's hooks, happened to be the brother of a girl that I was in 9th grade with. Random, bro. So we talking about, you from right, we in the studio in New York. And I remember there was a Beyonce and Idris Elba had a movie out at this time. Across the street, it was like a premiere.
Right.
And I remember seeing Beyonce and nobody believing us because our phone died and we couldn't take no pictures. We get back to the studio talking and everything. Like, you saw Beyonce? Woo, woo, woo. Talking to June, he's talking from Rochester. Boom, and that connection happened. Like, oh, snap. So, eventually, things started, me and Nip, was like, started was able to call me.
Right.
But I was like, damn, when he really gonna want my beats? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, his homies want my beats, but and then he was on tour with Game and all them, and I got a call. My man was on the tour bus. He said, yo, hold on, Nick, want to talk to you. He said, hey, cuz, hey, man, this your CD? Man, just put in a CD. Man, look, bro, we want track 7, 10. He just throwing off numbers. Mind you, I'm in a Porter session. At the time, I was doing Porter sessions, going to people's houses, recording them and all of that.
Right.
I'm at one of my people's crib at a Porter session, and I'm like, I stopped the whole set. Yo, hold on. I'm on the phone writing down the numbers to the CD. I'm like, oh my God, this is about to go crazy. So I just started sending him tracks. He started rapping. I don't think nothing ever even came out. But the relationships was there, man. It was a dope experience, man, during those times that I went to LA, fuck with No Money In, All Money Out, I think was the name of the.
What's All Money In?
All Money In, yeah. He had an artist there back then named Young Brody, and went locked in with him for a couple of days out of LA in 2010 and all of that. Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? But that was a time, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a time, bro. Like,
that's super crazy, because when we met, Nip was actually kind of heating up for real. Like, he was starting to get his name
hustle in the house.
And me and my boys this is before he announced the deal. I think this was right before Crenshaw went crazy.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get this nigga to come to Baltimore, and I was reaching out to anybody on the internet I could. And if I had known you had known this nigga, I'd have hit you like, yo.
But I kept it to myself, though. Like, you guys, during this time, I'm living out in the county. I'm a cable contractor doing cable work. I'm out the way. I'm out the way.
Yeah.
And it was like, I remember that night, man. That night we was filming, and I think the second night we was filming, and this is when I realized it was different. He was different. I didn't really hear it in the beginning. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't really.
He was rough early on.
I was like, I don't know. But then my man was telling me that was out LA with him. He was like, no, he's really going watch. Because he was in LA, so he knew what was happening.
Right.
But I ain't know. I'm in Baltimore. Right. So then he kept getting booked at these African clubs in DC. So I asked Nip, I said, yo, why we had all these like Ethiopian clubs and you rapping? He's like,
that's his family. So
he said, yo, well, I'm a Eritrean African, and I'm like, they looking at me like the prince, like I'm the only American rapper from East Africa, like, so like, they saw my features and they know I'm from here, so they booking him. But he learned when he saw that, he showed me in the back of the his analytics, like it was a lot of movement in the DC DMV area. So that's how his people set up he called up DJ Drama, some other DJs that's in the area, was like, yo, set me up. I'm getting some waves out there. So he was getting booked, man. We was, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a club hitting each spot. And in Drama, while we was out, Drama called him like, yo, I'm over here. We pulled up, Drama, we right there. So we get to the club, it was crazy. We get it, the owner came through, showed us mad love, it was a VIP. Then some guy showed up, was like, that's my table. Y'all took my table. He tried to beef up on us, you know what I'm saying? And things broke out. I'm a little tipsy at the time. Little scruffle jumped off. Now I'm swinging. I'm trying to keep him away from Nip, get Nip out the back door, camera, trying to protect the camera, trying to swing on homie. It just got crazy. So then we all leaving out the back and crazy. We just worked up. He like, yo, what the fuck was that about? Blah, blah, blah. He just got done performing. It was crazy. And I remember he looked at me and said, yo, you ain't had to do that, cuz. You ain't had to do that. You ain't had to do that, cuz. I just remember he was just telling me, you ain't had to do that. And I'm like, nah, yo, look, man, I just, you know what I'm saying? I was just taught this is just how I know, like, you know, protect the money, you know, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And if I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you and my man, you know what I'm saying? And then I was on my way back to drive back to Baltimore. He said, what you about to do? I said, man, I'm on my way back to Baltimore. He said, yeah, man, you gotta give me some O's hats, man. And you know what I'm saying? Because he was like, yo, we in the DMV. Man, you gotta get some O's hats. I said, oh, we in DC. This is not Baltimore.
Right.
He's thinking that like it's all the same.
It's all the same,
he wanted O's hats. And I was like, why you want all these O's hats? He was like, yo, because it's the 60s. He's a 60s crib. So I understood what that was. He's like, nah, yo, don't go back. Yo, fuck with us tonight. Yo, we about to go get something to eat. And then, you know, that was really where the relationship kind of like was like, okay. It was, a little bit. For like, you know, a couple of months it was there. And but yeah, you know, it was on and off, man, through some years, man, up until about 2014 or so, 13 or so. You know, but yeah, it was a cool time, you know what I'm saying?
Man, nigga, your life is legendary, nigga.
Yeah, man.
All right, so we go from that to now, so wait a minute. The courses, the school class.
Yeah, that was happening all during that time.
That all happened at the same
was
time.
all the same time. Man. Yeah, because when they called me about teaching more schools, mind you, I'm a cable contractor, but I remember going to schools in my cable uniform, like with the beat machine, with the studio in my cable truck, popping up at schools, like double dipping, going crazy, like, you know what I'm saying? I was always like real like motivated by purpose and like getting to it, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I was on it, man. I just wanted as much money as possible. Like I really just like, it was a time where I was just like, yo, I just fell to the bottom so much that I just always was trying to like, man, I got to get back up. I got to get back up. You know, I got to get out. And but also it started really enjoying being in schools. I was like, yo, this is dope. Like I get to make all this music and get paid like a job, and I'm still making beats just with kids. And so they offered me a couple more contracts, and that's when I was like, yo, I gotta come up with a company. And I came up with the name Kariz Kids Youth Enrichment Services, you know, and that was 2009.
I love that name, yo. That's a fire name.
Yeah, it's Kariz Kids. And
that Kariz Kids.
Yeah, the company ran for 10 years, man, up in 2009, 2008 to 2018 or so. Yeah, I ran that up. Like, we did great. I hired a lot of people and wrote curriculum and sold it to a lot of different organizations and schools up and down the East Coast, and that became my profession for a long time. You know, it was still is kind of, I'm doing it, you know, at different levels now. But yeah, that was where I found my niche per se. Like I said, damn, nobody else is doing this.
Yeah, because I was gonna ask, how is there a connection between the Beats Not Bullets and what you was doing, or is that just an evolution of it? Yeah, well,
so that was a client of mine. So at the time, Damon Blue reached out to Ogun and said he wanted to do something for the community. Blue just had his name, Beats Not Bullets. He didn't really know what it was. He's like, yo, it's gonna be called Beats Not Bullets. So, and then rest in soul, big H from Brownfish. Had to Save a Dope Boy movement, bunch of movements, incredible brother. He told Ogun, yo, if you want to do a program in the schools, you gotta have the Kariz. Yo, been doing that shit. So he came to me. It was like, yo, can you put together the program and the curriculum for me? And I gave him a proposal, you know what I'm saying? And this is now my first client with me doing it for somebody else. This is when I realized, I can get hired to do this for all kinds of people. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, yeah, just put together the program for me. So I put together the whole curriculum, wrote out the program. You know, by this time, I had a program that was already running in Rochester called YIP, Young Internship Program. And so what I did was just kind of took that curriculum that I did out there and I moved it over to Beats Not Bullets. And I kind of, you know, after talking to Blue and Kev, and they kind of started giving me what they wanted the results to be of the program, where they wanted these kids to be at the end. So I kind of reverse engineered that, and I wrote the curriculum for Beats Not Bullets and put together that whole program. Still running to this day.
Still running to this day. All right. And then they just made the announcement at the big top of the year that they just got distribution with Empire.
Absolutely. So yeah. So that evolved. So now check it out. When I started to go and do my own thing, and I gave him, he's a different kind of guy. He really took what I did and turned it into something amazing. And I eventually went off, and around 2015 or so, I started kind of doing my own music thing. I was trying to get back into music real heavy. And he started, continuing. He's like, yo, I need some instructors. So at the time, I didn't want to teach no more. I wanted to be an artist.
Right.
I wanted to be on stages. I wanted to DJ. I wanted to do all these cool things. So I was just like, let me find you a team. So I reached out to a man, lineup room, Brandon Lackey.
Shout out to Brandon.
And Vito Cash. I started reaching out to people I knew that I knew was like good dudes, and I put them on with the program so it could keep going.
Right.
And so, I would teach with them, and then they'll take the baton and keep it moving. So that was like a training ground. And then, so they kept moving. So then eventually, about a year or two ago, he came back to me, was like, yo, I want to do a jail program, and I know you've done this before. You know what I'm saying? Now, mind you, I had a program in D.C. Youth jail called BEAT, building the rich adjudicated teens, where we was working with kids in the youth prison system in the D.C. area for 10 years on Saturday mornings. And he knew, and I was like, I could put this together for you, man. So he said, yo, can you come teach it? And I'm like, all right, man. So this dude was like persistent, bro. Like, yo, just come.
Goon won't give up.
Oh my God. So eventually I was like, all right, yo, come on, yo. So he took me to the jails. And at this point, I think I had to be a teacher and do all this stuff. Man, all I had to do was pretty much record and be there as a voice of inspiration.
Word.
And but he was the guy. He went in there and he taught the program. He had a whole concept. He got together with Ron and they put together this whole thing. And I was just kind of there to help them get that off the ground. And then he figured out the job placement program that I could combine it with Beats Not Bullets. And when guys come home from jail, he helped them get work. They get a couple hours of free studio time, and then they record songs. And then but then it's like eventually, they brought, they was already dealing with Empire through the relationships they had through, like, I think Tech and some other people or whatever.
Right.
And then and so I guess, they ended up pitching the concept to Empire. They loved it and loved some of the artists that we was working with from the jail that came home that now started working with Naj and Kev. And then and got greenlit, you know what I'm saying? On the cusp of me also getting the Rock Nation endorsement through my program in New York within like months before that. So it was just like, this is all within the last year. So, but it was just like, yo, this is kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying?
So y'all them new niggas, yo.
Look, it's
you've
happening.
gone through this long journey to now become the epicenter of the game.
It's just from the educational perspective. You know what I'm saying? I design programs for rappers. You know what I'm saying? Like a year and some change ago, it was wild. I get a call. My lawyer called me up, and shout out to JB. Called me up and was like, yo, man, this rapper guy, man, out of Queens wants to do a financial literacy program in New York schools. This was like a year some change ago. He's like, man, it sounds like exactly what you've done already. So I'm gonna just, y'all talk. Let me see his number. This is right. There's a guy named Graf out of Queens, New York. It was so crazy.
Loving hip hop.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's a hip hop legend.
So I remember back in the day when he was with like Black Hand Records and all that, and I remember even it was a time 2004 or 5. He don't remember this. I used to catch train bus. I called a number on the back of his CD, and in that Dipset era and all that, even before that. And I remember going in Queens and meeting him and trying to sell him my beats and stuff. And he was just like that guy, Tim, the mixtapes, and just legendary, really highly respected in New York. And then so we got up and started talking, and he had a great idea. And I said, I normally would just like, just make him a client, just kind of like, here's my services, pay me this and I'll develop the program for you. But I saw his commitment to the youth and like how he was really about really wanting to get into the schools in New York. So we started a business together, and a program together called Music Therapy, and we've started rocking. And I've been up there doing that program with him for about a year now. And then he called me one day, was like, yo, Rock Nation want in, little whoop. So, then they started to like supporting us from a branding perspective and giving us clothes and things like that to give the kids. And, so we're going to see what our relationship goes. And, a lot of other schools in New York is asking about the program. And so, that's happening now. Beats Not Bullets is still happening. I'm always there for them. That's the homies. And that's, day ones, and program design has become like my thing, you know what I mean? And really finding a way to like turn anything to programs. I just wrote a podcast curriculum for LifeBridge Health.
Pete, I've been asked 4 or 5 times to like, yo, why don't you develop a curriculum? And I'm like, I don't.
Well, it got to make sense. You know what I'm saying? It's like if somebody's coming to you, it's like, oh, we got this bag for you. We got this opportunity for you.
See, they haven't
we got
presented
a grant.
the bag. People keep saying
they got to present. It's more about that. It's like, even when Beats Not Bullets started, they actually had funding. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it was just like, it was that part. You know, I know how to get funding too. You know what I'm saying? I've got funding before as well. But it was just like, my skill set really came into program design, and then you know, and so that's where my strong suit came into play. And so almost a year now, I've been working with Lightbridge and doing designer programs for them. You know, which is a violence interruption program through podcasting with the kids, and we started out. I got that running out there in Park Heights under them. So, and
I love that.
But
man.
that's happening now. And you know, and through all of this, you know, we opened up. Me and my wife, B Fly, opened up Blackwater House Studio downtown.
It's a beautiful space.
Thank you.
You killed it
throughout the pandemic. I opened up some spaces in there. You know, doing events. You know, man, me and her shot a movie together. You know, we got married in the movie.
And
sold out the movie theater. You know. It's crazy, like, you know what I'm saying?
I ain't get no invite. Let me check my email. I don't
that
know.
was July 7th.
Did the invite come with that? Brandon, they sent you an invite.
It was a massive thing. Yeah, man.
Oh,
2019. Man. You know, we did a movie, and then and then the movie was the marriage, and then we started the business. The same team of people, the videographers and the director, everybody who we worked with in the movie, put us into a space of like, oh, we could do film now because I scored it and everything, and that kind of led me to like, you know, Blackwater House, and I'm also worked with the U.S. State Department in 2019. A lot of things happened that year. U.S.-Cuba Artist Exchange. So mind you, like the program and stuff, I got sent to Cuba for a week.
What was that experience like?
Yeah, bro. Amazing. Outside of getting locked up upon entry.
Yo, do you ever notice how none of your stories are regular? They always got something crazy, like
bro. No, Cuba was crazy. You know, I got picked up from this agency. How did that even? I'm trying to think, man. It's just
sounds wow.
Yeah, so. Look, I told you, like in 2015, I started doing my music thing again, but it wasn't normal. I didn't want to do hip hop. I watched this Fela Kuti documentary and learned a lot about African music and Afro beats, and then to be honest with you, a lot of the street environments, the things that I went through within the streets, it just was a turnoff to me. I stopped doing the trap, and I just wanted to attract a different frequency of people in my life in general. And so I started learning about African instruments, and I was just like, maybe if I can blend African music with street music, what would that sound like, you know? And I started to kind of create my own sound, and it was like this international sound, you know? And so I started doing that around the city, and somebody brought an artist to me, Cameroon from Cuba, that was like, that he was here on an exchange program. It was like, oh, this guy Kariz is doing African music, you should work with him. So then I had my son, I got an older son that lives in Minnesota, and basically I went to go visit him for his birthday. I had nowhere to stay, I had no money. So I called up my kid. I said, don't you live in Minnesota? He's like, yeah, bro. So, yo, can I come stay with you? He said, let me talk to my landlord. So I go stay with him. Come to find out his landlord owns an artist agency that sends artists to Latin countries. So I'm there staying with him 2016, 17 or something. And, you know,
this is crazy.
It's right on the cusp of having my son Jazz. Me and my wife had our son Jazz. I go stay with him, and then she was like, I'm about to leave out. She's like, Kariz, you want to go to Cuba in January? I'm like, I ain't never been outside. I've been outside the country before, but not on no music. You know what I mean? Been to Cancun or vacation, but not like, I'm saying Cuba. I said, yeah. Bro, I get to Cuba, bro. I'm the only black guy on the tour. And I had a beat machine and cables, and mind you, it's a totalitarian government there in a way where they got it, you know, it's not really freedom of speech is not, it's different out there. You know, they got a hold on a lot of the arts. It's hard for you to get access to what's happening out there.
Right.
So going out there and being able to work with artists there was a blessing. But they saw I had equipment. It was like, now they didn't even stop. Everybody else had equipment too. but they stopped me and put me in the joint. They got me in the cell, locked up in the thing for like 3, 4, 5 hours, questioning me and all of that. Like whole time, the agent, she looking at me like, I'm so sorry. She, saw my skin like, you black. And so they ended up releasing me, but I had to sign this document basically saying if I don't come back with that drum machine, which was the MPC studio, if I don't come back with that, then I go straight to jail. I couldn't leave it in Cuba. So I had to bring it back, But I did programs out there. I worked with the community. I taught MPC classes. Ended up meeting with this guy out there named El Negro Wadpro, and he is an incredible producer. Ended up bringing me back to Cuba, hired me to produce, to help him mix and produce a project out there.
You just didn't bring that MPC.
Yeah, what? Actually, no. I didn't go back to Cuba. He flew me out to Mexico City, and I went out there and I produced
Safer?
out there. It's safer, but I got pulled up. I got apprehended by the police there.
You had another
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I did. I did. Just walking.
I'm not traveling with you nowhere.
Yeah, it was crazy, bro. But you know what I'm saying? So that happened, and then later on that year, let's talk. You're talking about the government and music and how all of this stuff kind of shapes into play. So I get a call from big homie Kokai out of DC. I was already working with the Grammy Academy, doing some things with the chapter with Von Vargas. Shouts out to all those guys in the DC chapter. And I get a call like, yo, you should apply for this program, Riz. I'm like, it's a U.S. State Department called One Beat. Bro, it's like 4,500 applicants around the world. I'm like, whatever. So I apply. I get in this joint. They only picked 25 of the 4,500.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like the most brilliant, musicians, social innovators, socially impactful creatives around the world. Bro, then I'm out there. I'm on tour with 24 other people, live with these people for a month from all around the world. And we toured the southern region, so Florida to Tennessee. I was living with these guys. Changed my life again. During this time, on the cusp of this, I get a call from Sony, Wonderland Records. They heard one of my remixes I did with, I took a 2 Chainz acapella and blended it in with Fela Kuti, did this crazy remix. A&R calls me up, sends it to Jadena, and they recruited me to their production team.
Wow.
And now I'm back in the game. Not even back, like I'm in the game now.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Right.
So all that African music, you know what I'm saying? It was just like, now I'm attracting people like me, people who care about the world. And I just started evolving and becoming a family man. And then my wife is so godly and so wise. It was just a lot of energy that I had to change my, what I was into, you know what I'm saying? Because she was just righteous, like super righteous, you know what I'm saying? And just kind of put me into that headspace, man, of be righteous, you know what I'm saying? So, that led me to that. And, that was a beautiful thing. Because mind you, the youth programs that I've built, shouts out to 7G, was one of my students, and Kariz Kids, and then eventually became a student in Beats Not Bullets. We co-produced Jadena's single, me and one of my students from the program. So now I have data showing that my program can get kids major placements. Right. So I open up that portal. Shouts out to T-Row Price, because at the time, I didn't want to have kids coming to my house, and it was taking money out my, I had to stop doing sessions. And I went to T-Row. I was like, yo, can y'all throw me some bread so I can bring kids to my studio and show them the work under me as a producer for the first time. Right. Not going into the schools, but and so yeah, they threw me some bread. So I was able to shut my studio down for a month. It just so happens during that time, the Jadena thing happened. Right. We started working on his album, 85 to Africa. We ended up hitting 39 on Billboard and did the single called Susu. With 7G, and I brought on December Moon, because December, I always told her I owed you one, because December got me my first placement, and me and Chauncey with Interscope Records with back in 2012 with Kid and G Unit. We did a record for them called New Orleans, and I remember that placement that December made that thing happen. I said, bro, if I ever get an opportunity, I'm bringing you back on. So when the Sony thing happened, I brought December back on.
That's love.
You know what I'm saying? And then now he was able to work on the album as well. And we was able to just celebrate that win together, did some tour dates. Then COVID happened and kind of ruined the trajectory of what was going on with that record. But yeah, man, it's what it is. You know what I'm saying?
You have an exciting life, bro. You got a movie life, yo. You definitely need to go ahead and put that script together and shoot your life story.
Yeah, man. Now, you know, it's I'm gonna start with, you know, I've been starting to write, you know, started looking at some books, you know, outside of that, just trying to figure, a lot of people coming to me like wanting to start their own programs. How did you do it? How did you sell this thing to schools? How did you, you know, because I looked up one day, bro, and I looked at all my invoices and my contracts from all these programs, and I did over $500,000 in sales through youth programming and services.
God bless.
I said, whoa, I didn't know that because, you know, it's compiled around like 9 or 8 years of, but you know what I'm saying? And I'm paying payroll, I'm paying myself. I'm not rich, but I'm just like, when I recently found all this stuff, like last year, I found all my paperwork, I said, yo, hold on. If I'm gonna teach anything to adults, I gotta show them how I did this and how I can kind of eliminate some of that trial and error. And so I started to kind of, today leaning more into that space, like, all right, you know, putting out a book around how I did that and a course of how I did that and how you could do it too, and you know, and how you can get money and do the same thing. And you know, like I tell people, I said, man, if you're available between 3 to 6 p.m., you can make an extra $30,000 a year, and I'm gonna show you how. You know what I'm saying?
That's an important story to tell.
So it's like literally that, like that's you know, because it's we're in a city, man, was full of people, full of programs and not foundations. You know, there's over 26,000 nonprofits in the state of Maryland. Majority of that is coming out of Baltimore. A lot of programs, a lot of money here for you to work with youth. And if you're a talented person and you got a decent personality and your record ain't too wild, you might could get a foot into the system, to the school systems through nonprofits.
So what you're saying is I could get paid to work with kids because I don't have nothing on my record.
Oh my! I mean, listen. Look. Even if you got stuff on your record, you can still do it. It just depends the charge. It's just like the charge, right? Like
that's the fact.
They do got some kind of guidelines here and there, but yeah, 100%, man. You know, if you got access, if you got a foundation to somebody that's like, yo. You know, a lot of times you can say, yo, I'll do this if you can, you know, raise the money, or if you know somebody that's in that space is like, yo, you know, come up with X amount of dollars and I can bring it, then you can do it, you know. But there's also, you can put together a program and pitch it. There's a lot of companies in Baltimore that will hire you, you know, like that do that, you know, a lot of organizations. I have a list of about 15 of them right now that'll literally bring folks in. I'm not physically doing a lot of programming right now. I'm focusing more on my consultation. I'm really trying to work with other people who want to get into the space. That's really what my goal is right now, is to empower other creatives to get into the schools and community centers and stuff like that, while I'm also building my music program and starting a new company that is all about bridging the gap between a lot of different educators and creating more jobs. We just did this deal, HBO and Cartoon Network, and we're doing this score for this film coming out. And, you know, so we want to bring in a lot of interns to create jobs through that opportunity. And like, so I'm moving on to that now. Now I'm really trying to, like, you know, people say, you know, industry not in Baltimore. So I said, all right, let me go ahead and build a company. Right now I'm working on a new company that is all about creating those jobs for locals in Baltimore. And that's the company that I'm doing with a lot of OGs. And we all, you know, we're going to figure it out, and we're going to create that opportunity.
I love that, man. I love you. I don't want you to discount the fact that I told you that I feel like the book and the movie about your life. I know the knowledge is important and we need it, and I'm number one person that's going to take advantage.
Yeah, man.
But your story is just inspiring. I'm so happy that you came and allowed me the opportunity, bro, to hear the story.
I've never told this story before, so I've never told this story. So I've always wanted to get to, you know, I got a lot of footage. Don't get it twisted. I've been having cameras follow, like you said.
You had your Kanye documentary?
I've been having cameras follow me around for over 20 years. So I have a lot of footage that can show you a lot of things I'm telling you, I can also show you. And I have the footage, and it's just one day it's going to make sense. You know what I'm saying? As far as right now, it's like, all right, I'm writing a children's book with me and Graf, writing a children's book right now. And I'm putting a little bit of my life in there, putting a little bit of his life in there. Yeah, you know, it's going to come out eventually, you know. Right now, I'm just like I said, I'm just really focused in on this agency, on this new company that I'm building that is literally going to connect these dots to the industry in a different kind of way, that the city, you know, it's with real intent. It's for youth ages between 18 to 24. It's an older population. You got to be kind of a little grown to be in these environments. I ain't gonna lie, but it's going to be a fire program, and we about to really connect these dots. And it's a business, because we will have services where you got to think about it. When we're scoring movies and doing commercials and albums, at the same time, we're creating opportunities in the city.
Word. Well, thank you. I'm not going to hold you. We done did a solid 2 hours.
Oh, that's beautiful, man.
You know what I'm saying? I want to thank you again, sir,
man.
From the bottom of my heart. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, man.
Yo, thank you for your contributions to the game, bro. I don't know if niggas ever gave you your props enough, but yo, thank you for everything that you've done. Like, me being an outsider doing music in a different place, but in the same city. Like,
yeah,
I just love to hear the stories, and the fact that you've been so resilient to stay with it and to finally get exactly what you wanted, and at the same time helping other kids.
Yeah, man.
Like, yo, that's the illest thing. I've heard a lot of people come and be selfish as hell, but for you to spread the love.
But let's be real, it's social entrepreneurship. I just found a business model that allows you to make money and help people. That's just, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not a nonprofit. I work for nonprofits. I get nonprofits hire me. I plan on starting a nonprofit soon. But I was always a guy that I just felt like, like I said, when Tater would bring kids to my studio, I just saw what that did. That was just my first little like, oh, wow, that's crazy. And then he went on and worked with Safe Streets on these other companies and put me on. And, so it's like I saw what that can do. And I just was always kind of connected with like trying to figure out a fruitful business that would do well financially and create opportunity. I think I just figured out how to do that, like within the last couple of months, really. Like I just figured out the model that will work for the city, not for the city, but for the world. So we're gonna see what it do. But
you're not the only person that was faced with opportunity to do something with the kids, been asked to come to a school, and the person said, nah, man, that ain't what I do. You know what I mean? I'm this. Even for you to humble yourself and say, yo, all right, I'm gonna put the chase for the industry down for right now. Yeah, that was dark. That hurt my soul, bro. Because mind you, like, in this last thing, like, oh my God, I remember I was supposed to meet Johnny Shipes, which was, at the time, Cinematic Music Group. Right. I mean, I remember I had to teach a class the next day in Baltimore, and the last bus left New York at 2-something in the morning. I'm waiting for Shipes, and by like 1, he ain't show up. And I'm like, damn, man. So I left, and while I'm getting on the bus, I get a call like, yo, Shipes here looking for you. I never got a chance to connect with him. And so that messed with me for so many years, up until the point that I got in with the Sony thing and Jadena and all of that. I was mad at myself for like, just like, wow, I'm doing this stuff with the kids. Is this really like, how's this going to help that? But eventually it was my programs that I did with the youth that made Jadena want to work with us. I said, wow, it kind of came full circle. I would have never thought. And then I found out Jadena was a teacher, worked in schools and did the same thing. And I was just like, God has a plan. We don't know. We don't know. Just follow the job that the man give you. Excuse me, that the deity give you. Man, woman, doesn't matter. Yeah. And everything will come in its own blessed time, brother. Yeah, man. So, you know what I mean? You a king, bro. Let's get it. You walk like a king. You talk like a king. And I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much once again. Yeah, man. And like, yo, next time you have a red carpet or something, I need my invitation, bro. You gonna get that, man. You know what I mean? We gotta get that. We gotta me and B gotta come through, man. You can't leave us out. You gotta come through. We got a lot of programming coming this year, the Blackwater House. So check out a lot of great partnerships we're doing. We're stepping the game up in there this year, so it's a beautiful place to be, man, and we excited about that. Gorgeous up in there, man. That kind of like, it's almost like a cafe. Yeah, it got this vibe to it, yo. It's like it's like a little event space / it could be a restaurant / and it's like up in the sky, like, yo, you get the cityscape is out the window. That's real sexy, man. Like, I don't know, you might be doing some late night adult parties. We don't know, but it's lit like that. That has happened. There you go. You understand? Welcome to Baltimore. Things can happen, all kinds of things. It's adult enrichment, y'all. It's adult enrichment at Blackwater House. That's what it's all about. Yeah, you know what I mean? All right, so give me your social medias. Yes. Tell them they can follow you. You was talking about consultation. Give them that. No, 100%, man. Well, I'm still building out the platform for my consultations. But right now, you can definitely Kariz Marcel, Kariz Marcel.
Instagram, you know, and just hit me there. Blackwater House is blackwatermusic.com. Blackwater, no C, BLAK water. Music.com is if you want to book the event space, check it out. You know, you want to, you know, book the studio, the engineer. I don't know if you're gonna get me, but you might need to bring your own engineer. I'm in there a few days a week. You might
you might have to bring your own engineer.
You could catch me in there once, you know, a little bit here and there. But yeah, yeah, man, I do most of my beats in the crib, man. I bring it to the studio when it's time, when it's, you know. But yeah, so.
Yo, that's some balling ass shit. This nigga said, you know, I may be in the studio. I don't know. Bring your own engineer. I don't got time to be at this place. I just own it and run it.
That's
you know
what
I'm saying?
Man. That's it, man.
With this being said, Baltimore legend, you know what I'm saying? Kariz Marcel, man, hey, and as he spoke these names, you need to go back to the older episodes with those gentlemen and watch those interviews and see how the dots connect.
It's real.
Because I can do a documentary that'd be crazy because all of y'all stories and y'all are telling y'all similar.
You know we ain't lying.
Exactly. That's
no
what
cap.
I love. I love seeing the intersection between the stories. So, you know what I mean? It's Baltimore love, bro.
Absolutely.
We appreciate y'all. We check y'all next time. We out. Peace.
Yeah.
That was crazy.